gosh, McLaren brand has evolved a huge amount over the last 20 years or so. Keeping up with popular culture has been an incredible opportunity, I think, as we've seen this new swathe of fans coming into the sport. I think at the heart of our brand, we've always wanted to be a brand who's first and driving innovation. So I think that's helped us propel into some of those new cultural arenas that we've seen show up in the sport. I guess being first, for example, the first team to show up on TikTok, I think in a Formula One team has been kind of key to tap into those new audiences. Likewise, having the first kind of female first ranges through Reese or Abercrombie and Fitch, and kind of giving fans that opportunity to tap into our brand and wear something with the team with pride, I think has been really important.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I sometimes think maybe I tackle it from the other side of the fence to you guys, but there's a lot of shared sort of opportunity here. The BBC's coverage, we cover every single session traditionally from free practice all the way to the race, but how do you sort of add to that fan experience, particularly now that it is so huge, and tap into those new audiences? I think what we did in Austin last year was a really good kind of showcase, where we did our first live Chequered Flag podcast. We had huge big name guests from the sport coming in, partnered with a pre-existing big brand in Formula One and delivered a show to a live audience. We had networking afterwards to meet with the actual fans who paid money to come and watch the sport. And it's about adding value. I think that's the main key thing here. Going forward in Formula One, where it's at an all-time high, you've got to add that value somehow.
Yeah, look, I think at the core of it is knowing who you are, and that doesn't change. Who McLaren stands for, who the BBC is and always been, who Hilton is and has always been, doesn't change. But how you connect with your fans evolves and grows. I think what's really interesting about the question is, I think of both of you as actually not being in culture, but creating culture. And our opportunity is to join you on that journey, to connect with the fans, to connect with that fandom and passion points, to help people find their community, their people, their tribes.
I mean, there are so many emerging opportunities, right, and ways to engage with Formula One right now. It's at an all-time high, but it's something like 1% only actually get to go trackside. So how do you capitalize on that? There's 24 race weekends. It's not just a weekend, it's a week, and then there are non-weeks. How do you capitalize on that? I think through our live podcast that we did in Austin for the BBC, it's just one way of being able to engage with those who are there, but also things like the F175 launch at the start of the year, a huge event put on by Formula One, but how can we as an audio brand as well, and visual through social media, bring those who don't get the chance along for the ride? And we can do that. We can place them on the red carpet, chatting to the biggest names in the sport inside these events. And I think that's just almost touching the surface a little bit with what we do, at least.
Look, I think it comes down to content. As you said, we can do great activations, and we do a lot of those. We can do great things trackside and on the grid, but the chance to bring the fans to the drivers and the drivers to the fans and the team to the fans 52 weeks a year, I think really is the opportunity, and that ultimately is the focus that we've got.
I think, you touched on it. For us as a team, it's all about being more inclusive and bringing more people to the sport with only a fraction can get to actually see it live. But those experiences, we know how important they are to our fans, to our consumers, right? Money can't buy that. They're short of time. They want to tap into their passion. So I think, London Live is a great example coming up just before the British Grand Prix. We're turning Trafalgar Square papaya with those fans that will never get to Silverstone. But they can show up, they can play the bat attack, they can test their wits on the simulator driving the Silverstone circuit and see many of the team as well.
And
which
is stay in a Hilton themed room.
Exactly.
That's totally papaya'd out for the drivers, which is fantastic.
Can I come?
You can. We'd love to have you. Let me know what night you want to be there.
Excellent.